Welcome back to Not Niche. This is Raquel here. Our next guest is Miss Rebecca Harris. She is overall just one of the sweetest person I got to interview, and she's making a great name for herself. And I can tell you this, art runs in her bloodline. And she's just doing a great job. And right now she's making some powerful moves. So I can't wait for you to see her. So let's tune into the interview. Oh, there she is. Beautiful Rebecca. Everybody, welcome her in.
Sorry it took so long.
No, you're good. I thought I did something wrong. I was just like, I'm not very sure what I did. So I was like,
It's all good.
yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Hope you are.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, it's kind of rainy here and it's really cloudy, so I had like two huge lights in front because it was just really dark in the house. I was just like,
I
well,
can't
this is probably not gonna work.
tell. You look so gorgeous. That lighting's perfect.
Oh, thank you. You're such a sweetheart. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. This is why you're here. Um, just want you to touch on like how you got started and like where everything kind of kicked off for you and sharing your inspiration with us.
So many years ago, my father, he's a professional, well-known photographer. He moved here probably in the 80s or 90s and met my mom. He had always been doing photography for ever since he was younger as well. So it's always just been blended in our blood. I feel like I was destined to be a photographer. Of course, I was doing other things growing up as a kid, but um, as my adolescence came to be, I feel like it really blossomed into my teenage years, doing it more professionally. So when I was about 15 years old, or maybe even 13, 14, I would just run around Wrightsville Beach all the time, taking photographs of my friends. I feel like it really started with just doing it for fun, honestly, which is still try to keep that that part grounded because you can always lose yourself here and there, and it's really good to tap into that playful, youthful side because I feel like we're all.
There we go.
Call me spam. I hate them.
You're fine.
But I don't even know who that was. But just in my hometown, I really feel like it nurtured me, and I haven't felt like there's any part that honestly it's just actually really overwhelming, honestly, because now I'm pregnant and it's just how
No, congratulations.
I just feel like I don't resent any part of still being in my hometown. I feel like I'm supposed to still be here. I've traveled, of course, but as I'm getting older, I'm just remembering how I would always just have like my own photo shoots in my living room as well. My dad, he started doing like home shoots, and so I was always curious about that whole aspect of how he would just bring people one place, and it was always so amazing how one person could do that. And I feel like becoming my own artist, I've really, really tried to be a better advocate to get to know my subject, get to know the people that I'm working with, because it's good to capture them for who they are because you
Yeah.
can smile and have fun with all of that, but it's really about making the person truly raw and real and not making yourself more important
Right.
than the person that you're taking photographs of. Um, so when I was 15, I just wanted to just do it full time. I'm still trying to get to that high level. I
Yeah.
feel like I'll never stop. I'll keep being like, what's next? What's next? What's next? I can never really sit still. But when I was 15, I made business cards, made a website, and then going into my senior year throughout high school,
Hmm.
I went to every pep rally, going to every game, football game, and that's when journalism and yearbook was just really helping me to get my work out there, and I guess the beginning stages.
Yeah.
So, of course, started at high school, and my senior project, I did my project off of social media. And what
Okay.
I shadowed what was going to happen to me in that whole marketing social media aspect years later. So my senior year, I didn't even realize the information I was grasping that would follow me up until recently. And I did it off of the pros and cons of social media. I
Hmm.
wanted to cover more of the positiveness because it can really help, building your business, and of course copyright, making sure you don't get your work stolen, because I feel like media these days you can do a
Yeah.
screenshot and it
Yeah.
um
That's a whole nother thing.
yeah, crazy, because I mean, you got to protect everything even on Instagram, and then people can just screenshot all of that too. But with that project, it foreshadowed how I was going to be doing social media for businesses besides my own photography. So I started
Mhm.
doing the restaurant, food industry, and up until recently made me realize I don't want to do that anymore.
Yep.
Um, so I definitely experienced the negative side and my,
Hmm.
on the positiveness, and I was like, wow, I really like took myself for a whole other adventure. I feel like you gotta take good with the bad and bad with the good, and that's what teaches you. And
Right.
you learn mistakes, or you learn from people that you don't want to work with anymore. And so I've really realized that I want to focus on myself. Last year, I decided I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to get to know other people that I might not know yet, or like we've been talking for a while, and I want to actually meet them in person finally. So that's when I put myself out there more with Creatives of Carolina. So I went to more meetups, met some amazing people, and I just got obsessed with going to all these meetups and meeting so many
Mm.
people. I was always so nervous, but after every single experience, I was so happy that I pushed myself, because I realized if I hadn't have done that, most of these pictures would not have had existed. I wouldn't have met so many amazing models and other photographers, and not even just teaching them things, but like learning things that I took back home to myself, and it's really changed me. So now I'm just in the moment trying to rebrand my stuff right now, as I'm home. I'm still working, but just
Yeah.
I felt just overwhelmed with everything I want to do. So last year I did tons of photo shoots, more consistent,
Mhm.
and then when this year came around, I told myself I want to do something that I haven't done, or maybe I did do a lot when I was younger, which was being
Mhm.
published. I realized I did a lot of publications when I was like 4 years old, because my dad was like sending all of our stuff in like local magazines, and
Aw.
experience that in my adult years too.
Yeah.
And also try to do it just on my own without any other person's help. And I just ended up submitting all of my stuff, because leading up to that, magazines were reaching out to me, and I was like, and I was just so
You're like me.
I like, you find me because I manifested it. I wrote it down on like all my journals. I was like, this is going to happen. I'm going to be published. I don't know how it's going to happen. And I still have to order tons of magazines right now. I don't even know how many that I'm in, but it's so overwhelmed. I stopped last week. I stopped submitting because I need to write down all the magazines I'm in, but that's not the point. But the point is that the first one that I did, it was from one of the meetups I did. So the
so cool.
was from one of those meetups. It was in Fort Fisher. And then another one was the one that was in Raleigh. And the models are so insanely kind. They've just really touched me. And I've gained some amazing relationships that I'm going to remember forever. And we always talk, trying to catch up and maybe photograph soon. But it's been really fun. It's been an amazing experience.
Well, I think that's also kind of like important because I know a lot as like an artist like yourself, even like with like starting a business or whatever, it starts from a passion, and then sometimes where you go hard so quickly, you do kind of experience kind of like a either a lag or a burnout, and it's just like, okay, I need to switch it up. But you do have to have that courage where you have to know when to like keep going and not keep going. And then also networking is like a huge thing, and that's one reason why I wanted to start like this platform like on social media, because you do have to have like a certain je ne sais quoi when you were like talking to people, because like you do unfortunately get the spams, and you know you're just like, oh, I don't know, but like I wanted something a little bit more engaging. And then also you could also like when you don't go out and you don't even know what your kind of niche is or whatever, it's hard to network with people. And it's like, you know, you made yourself go to different networking events, you created your own, and you've made your name for yourself, not just by you like connecting with your father. And I think that's very important, because sometimes we're so hard to just have like our name and our identity. It can actually take away from our work, because we're just focusing on like, hey, this is me, like it's about me and I want to do my work. But it just starts naturally developing on its own, and I think that's something that you've done successfully. And you know, being a new mom, I know that kind of slowed you down a little bit, but
yeah, right.
Right. I mean, like it just like it kind of, you know, art is like a flow. You have like your good speed up time when you're meeting everybody, and then sometimes you have to slow down a little bit. And in art and technology and the social media is consistently evolving, like a blink of an eye. Like who knows? Like I was talking about before, you know, TikTok being banned in Texas, so you know, a lot of people that are from Texas, like me, are gonna have to do a different way of engaging compared on TikTok, because I feel like TikTok is a little bit more engaging in a different way. They have longer lives. You meet a little bit more people like organically, because you can just see automatically on either on your like For You page or just like interests. I'm not for sure how that's gonna go, but that's a whole nother thing. But I do want to talk about just like you being a model, multi-published. Like, do you have like goals, or do you have, you know how people say like, what do you see yourself in like 5 years? I don't say that, because so many things can, you know, change, of course. I just, you know, where do you want to see yourself?
I try to, of course, have those long-term goals.
Right.
But I've always had like in the back of my mind knowing that anything can happen at any point, and also prepare for, you know, the most amazing things to happen unexpectedly that you never would ever imagine.
Right.
So I think those set plans is good. I do like to write in my journal a lot, just being in the moment and reflecting, because I can be on the go so much that I don't want to miss a moment. I want to remember and like restore everything that I took from that meetup or that photo shoot or that conversation,
Yeah.
and really remember um, from what I took from it, because I don't want, I get so caught up in a lot of different things that writing has really helped me to remember what's most important and valuing what I want to continue nurturing. And I think it really just came to be with modeling for just naturally. I never really saw myself like I never called myself a model growing up, because
Hmm.
I was like always around photography and modeling, and I think I didn't really need to put a label on it. And not until recently I was like, well, I am a model. Because I mean, my dad would always have family photo shoots. I was featured in a commercial for Arboretum. I think it was, I don't know if it was like a nursing home or
Hey, that's something.
it was it was I think it was like a new home development. It wasn't a nursing home. I think it was like a new neighborhood.
Hmm.
It was also for like retirement ages to like live in a more lively, beautiful neighborhood. And right here in Wilmington, they still have it. But at the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just playing outside with these girls, and my dad was just taking pictures of us in this like flower field. And before I know it, I'm like on TV. I'm like, wait, I'm doing that? I thought I was just playing with these girls, hanging out. I was like 6 years old. And I remember my favorite part of that commercial was we had like these butterflies flying around.
Hmm.
It sounds weird, but I didn't know that you could have like butterflies on set that you like open up and they're alive.
Yeah.
Where did you get these butterflies from? And they just
Just like, you're like,
fly around. But, that was the last thing my Nana saw me do
oh,
before she passed a couple months later. And butterflies have become like a significant part of my life. And leading up to that, I was, still doing modeling for fun, not with an agency or anyone specific, just because my dad needed me as like a subject or testing lighting.
hmm.
And I was always like grabbing for the camera, even in like baby videos when I was like 1 years old or just crawling, um, which I feel like really foreshadowed what I was going to be doing now.
Right.
And photography was mainly part of me before modeling, I feel like, because I like modeling now because I'm able to learn from both sides, being in
Hmm.
front of the lens and behind, which is why I've like been taking on modeling a lot more to understand poses, because I really do enjoy styling and fashion. So I do love modeling. I just never really put a label on it until recently, and now I can't even imagine doing anything else other than photography and modeling. And just networking with other people has really like brought everything to the surface of why it is so important to
Hmm.
continue doing those different types of like photo shoots, whether you're trying to do something new or going to meetups. And like there's different things for every meetup, which I think is really fun to like play with,
Yeah.
because I didn't get into editorial photography until about a year ago. And then I realized I had some past work that was in that same criteria.
Hmm.
I was like, well, I love editorial. I love fashion photography. I love doing this. So I ended up switching around what I want to focus on. So I've now been focusing more on portraiture, lifestyle, which is like families. And I always say intimates because that could be boudoir or a surprise proposal, a couple shoot, which I feel like more fun than a wedding itself. I was doing a
Yeah.
couple weddings over the last couple of years, and that's another thing I realized, that you really have to put yourself out there and try to see what you like and what you don't like.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, then you might not realize what you could be better at than other types of photography, or you might not realize that you're so good at these other types of photography that you forget to do those things again. Because I was doing food and beverage photography for like 2 years, and I remembered I'm like so bored. I don't want to be all day.
Like, I don't want to do
I
this anymore, but thank you.
people and have conversations. So I remember I put all that stuff in the past,
Mhm.
and I really wanted to focus on putting myself in like every background, learning other people's ways of like their lives and their artwork, because um, I just get so like emotional when I think about how like my dad has photographed like all walks of life and traveling the world before he had me and my sister. I think that is something that lasts a lifetime, and
Mhm.
I really want to create something that lives on after me. Just like what my dad has, like he has collections, boxes, and I don't even know how one can have that much photography, but
You know,
within 55 years, you'll have like a whole entire
sure.
pile of so much film. That's that's just what I really want to have and to pass
Mhm.
on to my kids, because I think that really is important to keep within your family and remembering where it all comes from. Because I feel like a lot of us can get lost and we forget um, about the most important things that just make us the happiest. And I really found my way back home last year, and being part of Creative Carolina platform and also simultaneously building my own business at the same time, I think it really puts me on a right way of path, keeps me focused, and it
Yeah.
reminds me that, I just love listening to other people's stories, and it reminds me of like why mine is so important as well, because I don't talk about it a lot. I feel like living in a small town, there's a lot of people that can put a different what's the word, f f
Emphasis. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
a certain emphasis on being brought up in a family where all you have is like artwork, and
Mhm.
having like my parents get divorced when I was like 13, it really changed me like insanely. If that never happened, I would be a completely different person. I think the hardest times for me
Mhm.
really have taught me who I am as a strong woman. Um, I don't know where I would be without my dad, and having that part of me has really made me like dedicate my entire career to where it came from, which is him, and I will thank him till the day I die. Everything that he has taught me, but I do love learning from other people as well. I feel like I wanted to meet other people around my age, meet people from all different areas, and learning from other creatives, because I think I really forgot that there was so many creatives around me. For a long time, I thought I was the only one living in Wilmington, and
Mhm.
it made me realize that there's artwork everywhere. It's not just in my home or in my room or on my computer with all my files. It's everywhere in our world, and I just really want to explore more of that, and I don't think I'll ever stop.
Well, I think that's what is really important because I always say like what we have been put with our lives, and lessons that we've dealt with can either break you or make you in a way, um, because it's all about perspective. Yes, certain things work, but like for me personally, there's two ways that I could have gone in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I chose this way because I'm happier, I'm healthier, I
Mhm.
have a more healthier perspective about like life and how I see people. And I think sometimes we get caught up, we kind of have like our blinders on in life,
Mhm.
where you can just be so consumed of the negative of what's going on, and kind of the self-defeating and self-doubt mode, um, that can happen even as an artist and just as a person. Like your mindset is so powerful, um, which I commend you, because it's hard to be able to like switch. Okay, I accept what's going on, but is this going to be my forever? No, it's going to be, yes, I accept what's going on, but I'm going to make it better, and I'm going to learn from it so I can have like a better aspect about one, me being creative, what I want to do with my life. And then just because it is a small town, but use what you got.
Mhm.
um for me, like, sometimes you forget that everything that you need, you already have, basically. You have the connection, you have the connection with yourself. You just have to keep on putting yourself out there. That's why networking is so important. That's why family is so important.
Mhm.
And just for family, sometimes family is not by blood, and I do have to say, uh, and that is perfectly fine. And I think,
Beautiful.
as we're here on the earth, like who knew that I would meet you and you would meet me? Like that's just like, it's just family. Like Non-Niche is a family and a community that I wanted to create for people to engage and network, collaborate, and build each other up, because sometimes people have off days. I even have an off day. I think I had an off day yesterday. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like,
Past
I'm
couple
like,
months,
I'm done.
like my pregnancy is going by so fast. And like January, everyone was like, "You're due so soon in June." I'm like, "Not really." And now it's March, and I'm,
Mm-hmm.
so being in the moment has definitely been the healthiest for me, and wanting to see where I can go after I give birth. And it's just insane how time comes to be. I think
Yeah.
it goes by really fast, but really there are times where it just goes by really slow, and we can just simply be. And it's okay to just not do anything all day and
Yeah.
brand, or just like think about new ways you can make your business more successful, or do things that you've never done before. And I think this past year I definitely wanted to do different things that I hadn't done, because I didn't realize that I had met every goal that I wanted to meet last year. So I went back to my planner, and this year I don't even have a planner, which is not like me.
You're just
I
like off the cuff here.
Here comes, but I told myself I'm not gonna have a planner. I'd rather, like, I have like my notes and my calendar on my phone,
Right.
but I'm so obsessive over writing every single thing that I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I realize I've been the person, if I don't do it, I'm gonna like beat myself up about it, and things can happen.
Yeah.
Like I might not want to do it that day because I have something else to do, that's I need to do that first,
Mm-hmm.
or I just need to rest, and that's fine. Because we can overwork ourselves as well as artists. And I think being a night owl too, my mind is like always awake at night, and I've been better about going to bed earlier and waking up in the morning and having like a full day
Mm-hmm.
of just whatever I want to do that day. If I'm working that day, or if I have a shoot that day. For the planner I had last year, I don't know why I've been like keeping planners from like years ago, but
Well, it's needed so you can go back and see like how much
yeah,
you accomplished.
so cool, because I didn't realize like how cool that was until this year came around, and I went to my 2022 planner, and I saw everything that I did, and then I wrote down things that I forgot to write that I accomplished, and it was so long. I started crying because last
Mm-hmm.
year was really hard time for me, and I was just so proud that no matter what I was going through, I was still continuing my work.
Mm-hmm.
And when when I was looking at everything, I recircled things that I wanted to do more of, or like I said, do different things. And I told myself I'm going to do more couple shoots, maternity shoots, and networking more. And then I think I wrote, yeah, publishing. And I realized the maternity shoots I was having, all of the women were being in labor around the time that we were supposed to have our shoot. And then I was pregnant, and I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to have all the shoots.
I'm like, I did this.
Literally, and I you can't control that. I was not mad at any of them. I just thought it was so funny. Every single maternity shoot I was planning, it fell through because they're having their baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became pregnant. So I was like, honestly, all of these shoot ideas I have for everyone, I'm just gonna do it for myself. So for these past couple of months, I've just been planning maternity shoots for me and my boyfriend. And so I've been doing more modeling this beginning of the year than my photography, because I'm trying to be in the moment and trying to rebrand. And then I have Crazy Carolina platform that I'm running with the team. So yeah, definitely refocusing has been really amazing, because you don't want to get so tied up in the same stuff. You want to like feel excited about new things that you're doing. And I know a lot of people like follow trends and they want to do things that everyone else is doing, but I've definitely, yeah, everyone should have, it's fun to do like a reel or make all of your Instagram feed like videos now, but I just feel like having that photography value, like a photograph is worth so much now. Like we have these phones, and my dad like still has all this film and all of these printed out photographs, and I'm just sitting here like, this is insane, because you don't really see that anymore, because everyone has their iPhones and everything digital cameras now. So just, I like to have that balance of teaching him marketing and networking, and he teaches me all the old ways. So that's been really fun, especially just learning from him, and then he can learn from me too. But I'm really excited to see where this new year comes to be, because I'm due in June, and it's getting so close. So close. My friend's like, are you nervous? And I'm like, I'm trying not to be.
But I would be nervous. I mean, like, the only reason I would be nervous, mind you, I don't have any children. So when my niece was born, I was nervous for my sister, because me and her are almost like alike in a way, like with our mind. I'm like, you're about to bring life into the world. And she's like, I'm already freaking out. I don't want to, mess this up. I'm like, thanks a lot. But no, I think it's a beautiful thing. Like human bodies and minds, like, has always been
crazy.
It's just, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how we can bring life into this world, and then also, that's like a soul, just a little baby soul, and it's so impressionable. And I remember as like a kid, for me, my mom always gave me the opportunity to choose for myself. Like what I wanted to be, and like no limitations. But as you get, acclimated into the world, and the world has their own societal standards, and you got peer pressure and stuff like that, it's really hard to be like, okay, as a kid, I was told you can be whatever you want, and you go out in the world, it's just like, no, you got to do A, B, C in this order, and how do you have to do this and stuff like that, which works for some. Don't get me wrong. It works for some, not all. But as creatives, I think, we're meant to have that expansion of the brain. We're not supposed to just have A, B, and C. Like, we may have some bullet points under that A and maybe have like a separate page of Roman numerals. Like, who knows? But I think when we were talking about like the trends and how we're supposed to be doing, if we want to do that, I never really liked it, because everything eventually comes back. as like in fashion and photography as well. Um, it always comes back, and then also it just kind of authenticity is lacking. And I think, especially like when I was looking at your photos, like whenever I'm working with somebody, I like to honor what they give me because I try to fit it into like kind of what you would make. Or like I did some that made you look like you were in a magazine, and just kind of like
Those were
I will
amazing.
email you after this. I haven't forgotten. But like I just want to cater to the person that I'm working with, and I think that's what you as a photographer do. And a model, because like you do have to have two separate brains. And then also when you're working like with different companies, different I would say like with the restaurant and the service, it's just like you got to figure out what you don't like, so like it can just kind of narrow it down for you. Like, okay, I love doing this, but I don't like doing that with this. So sometimes you do have to take those risks, or just put yourself out there so it can help you. And it doesn't mean that you fail. It doesn't mean that you're flighty. It just means like I wanted to try something out and it didn't work, and you move on.
Yeah.
um, no, but I really commend you, and I definitely wanted to interview you, and I'm so glad you reached out to me because it's a one woman show here.
You
So
are, that's a lot of people to talk to. I don't know how many people you talk to throughout the day, but sometimes I get exhausted. But I love having conversations. I feel like having those conversations really leaves an imprint on me because I don't always talk about where I came from a lot.
mhm.
I feel like being more in depth, I'll start crying. But when just just like when I was younger, I feel like I was always doing different like extracurricular activities, and I was always trying to figure out who I was. And I knew deep down who I was. My mom was always having me do like 5 different activities a day, and like even to this day, I'll talk about it to my sister and my dad, and I'm like, it's funny how I was doing so many different things, and now I just stuck to one, which is photography, because I was doing like soccer, horseback riding,
Mhm.
piano, tennis. And as those things were
Right.
fun, I mean, as a kid, I was figuring out what I liked and what I didn't like. I guess you could say that. Um, but throughout all of that, all I was thinking about was photography and modeling, and going home to see if my dad was having a photo shoot or wanted to go with him on set. He's in the film industry as well. And I was just always wanting to follow my dad around with a camera because that's all I cared about. It's all I felt close to.
Mhm.
And being around other creatives growing up, I think it was only a small amount. My sister definitely has been a big part of that creativity. She does different
Mhm.
kinds of art, but we would always support one another no matter what. And she was always like the artistic one of the family. Everyone said, "I'm like, I'm artistic too. You guys won't let me do it."
Like, hello.
They let it, but but to the extent of like, I don't know. My mom just always wanted to keep me busy,
Mhm.
and being a mom, soon to be mom, I'm there's a plane going by. I don't know if you hear it.
No, we can't. You're fine.
Um, but becoming a mom myself, I'm gonna make sure that, of course, like, I'm gonna teach my kids the good things that my parents taught me.
Mhm.
Uh, but since me and my mom don't have the best relationship in my adult years, I feel like I'm gonna make sure they get to choose what they want to do, and I'm going to support them 100% because you never know what they could create at such a very young age. And I think when I was in 5th grade, I got the front cover of the yearbook, and it's
Mhm.
so cool. Like, I'm only in 5th grade. I felt so famous, and then I go to middle school, and I'm still doing like tennis and soccer and piano. And I just remember I can't wait to get to high school. I can't wait to get to high school. I get to high school, and of course, high school is hard.
Yeah.
Um, but through the
Yeah.
hard times, what kept me happy
Mm-hmm.
and what kept me focused was my passion, was what I really knew what I wanted to do was photography. And which is why I pushed myself, because no one else was going to do it for me. No one was going to give me a camera and say, hey, can you photograph this? I had to show people that I always did that, no matter if I
Right.
was doing other stuff. Like, look, I was always doing this all along. Now you can see it. And so I was just running around the basketball court all the time in high school at the pep rallies. And I loved it so much. And I didn't realize how big of a difference I was going to leave an impact on me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so happy I did that, because I could have stayed home, been depressed all the time with like my anxiety and my depression, but I went out of the house. I was always trying to do the opposite of what my mind was telling me to do. And I think that's also why writing helped a lot too, because I put it all on paper and it really put into perspective of what was really healthy for me to grasp on. And I think um, emotionally it was helping me as well. I think we all are a little bit vulnerable in our work,
Mm-hmm.
and that shows, especially if you have your own authenticity, your own identity, and you're not following those trends. And I think I easily could have lost myself at a very young age, but photography saved my life. I've always said, and I wouldn't be who I am without photography at all. I know that 100%. I don't even know where I would be or doing.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a
Yeah.
piano player,
Who
but
knew, right?
yeah, no thank
No,
you.
I think that's great because, like, if you, I don't know, this, I always say life is not supposed to be hard. You just learn your lessons and you know, try to live the best day. It's just like when you think too far ahead, that's when you can have like anxiety, a little bit of depression. I know that's for me, because I just like to be a forward thinker. I'm like, I'm gonna do this. This is where I'm gonna be. And now, like, I got put in a position where I literally just have to focus on the present. I have to focus on like, okay, where are we right now? What's my mindset like? And like I said before, I think you kind of crafting your own mindset and realizing that you wanted to be in rooms and you want to be put in situations where you did not know everything. You continuously learn. And I think as an artist, we need to do that. As just a being, anybody going to any profession, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, because you've grown out of that room. Like, if that makes you comfortable and you're okay with comfortability, sure, by all means. But comfortability can easily become like complacent, and you know you're gonna get tired of it. Burnout's gonna get, you know, quicker. But no, I just really appreciate you hopping on with me today, and you know, tell me about your story. And then I'm so excited for you and your baby and your
So
family,
much.
and you're doing so many great things. And I'm, you know, I know I don't know you that well, but I'm
I
just very proud.
like every single day, honestly. Fun. But I feel like what you were saying about how, life can be hard, but really I've always said, it happens for you, not to you. And you can be angry at the world, and at the same time, it's happening for you. I've always said, this quote, be you, do you, for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that has really helped to just tone into who I am deep down. And when it happens for you, you see life very differently. Instead of
That's true.
being angry that this person left, or this happened with your parents, or anything, your job. And I feel like when you put it into perspective that it happened for you, it's leading you to where you're supposed to be, even if it might be hard right now, even if you're really sad and you don't know how to get out of this rut. It's not forever, it's temporary, and you can't take the rain without the rainbow, or the rain without the sun.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
But when it comes to be happening for you, it's you're going to look back at those hard times and you're going to be happy. I'm happy that happened to me, you know, like you're going to look back and say, I'm happy I'm not friends with that person anymore, or I didn't get that job because it led me to even something greater. Um, and that is another thing with just knowing that the unexpected can happen and it could turn out way better than you could ever imagine if you just believe that you can get past that storm, or you'll finally learn how to do some type of photography that you've been wanting to do. I think it really helps as an artist to remember that, because we all feel very deeply. And I think one thing that I want to remember forever is that I took the time to get to know the people that I'm working with, and remembering that everyone has a story to tell. And I love hearing all of your input. It's been so much fun. I feel like I've learned a lot about your business as well, and you should never, ever, ever stop doing this. This is so cool. I don't know anyone else that does this. And I'm just really proud that you even
Aw,
need to come on here. I'm
don't
honored.
don't make me cry or anything. Jeez. Um, but no, I really appreciate it. And no, this is what I wanted to do. I always wanted to help people, and I was just like, well, you know, I don't, it's just like helping people doesn't have to look like everybody else or, doing the same thing. Helping people is just like how you would naturally, organically help. And sometimes that's just with a conversation. I had like a complete conversation with a stranger, like just walking downtown one time in Dallas, and it was like a homeless guy, and he was like, "Hey, I've never seen you down here before." I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't been out, COVID, and now I'm like trying to talk to people." He's like, "Oh," and like he was telling me like he used to be like a stockbroker, and he has like 3 kids and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, man, what led you here? He's like, you know what, I was tired of living in the matrix. I want to be here, and I travel, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't have a home, but like if you're like your soul is home, so like I don't need a building to be home. I'm like, all right, well, that's true. But no, it's just like I would have never known if I just didn't talk to people. So that's one reason why I wanted to create it, because like I didn't have somebody. Well, besides my mom, I love her to death. I didn't have somebody to talk to like this. I had my journal, of course, and I was just like, no, I just wanted to create it, and I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna keep doing it every day and talk to people, and hopefully my social anxiety doesn't kick in. I'm like, hi, I'm a real person. Do you want to get interviewed for this platform? So, I, yeah.
Like your body's your vessel, your photography or your journaling or your stories and interviewing people, like that's a vessel in itself, like that's home within itself, and it just builds on top of each other to create one big world of creativity, or one big world of different knowledge that you just take on with you. And I think meeting so many people, like I could be living so many different lives right now, and I'm supposed to be living this one, so I might as well live it to the and just wrap my arms around every single person that I meet and work with, because you know, like life is really short. And I think having this year like come into this blossoming stage, it's really overwhelming at times, because I mean, I'm only 22 and I feel like I'm already like 40. Everyone, but I feel old. Like I promise you, I feel old.
The world will do that to you.
Yeah,
Shoot.
you meet so many people and you work so much. Like I can't even imagine like doing anything else, of course. But when you think of things like throughout time, it's really mind-boggling to realize, because you could have done so many different things, and you're supposed to be here right in this moment. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. So, in the last maybe 2 minutes. Just talk about like any upcoming events. But I know you're having a baby soon, but like you're like, I'm having a baby, and just like your handle so people can follow you. I'll also like put that under here when I post it online too. So, but no.
Okay, so this year, for sure, the baby's coming June 16th. But until that time comes, I'm still going to be doing my photography, my modeling. With my photography right now, it's mainly going back into the factory of the works. So I'm rebranding my website. Um, I am deciding about business cards. I've been hearing a lot about this QR code where you just scan it right away. So I feel like that's a lot more beneficial, especially if I'm on the go, out and about, not even like on a shoot, and I just meet someone, like at work or something. That's like super, super reliable, more than a piece of paper that someone can lose. And I do have one of my pieces that's been up in a gallery called Bottega. It's
Okay.
down in Wilmington. It's a piece that was in the Cameron Art Museum, so
Okay.
it's now found a second home. And I don't know when that, honestly, I think it's going to be up for a good while because it's already been up for a couple months so far. But for something that's happening next week, I'm trying to be a vendor at a local tattoo shop,
Okay.
and owned, and it's gonna have like a really nice day of flash sale tattoos. Excuse me. Other vendors are gonna be there, so I'm trying to plan that because it's coming up pretty fast. Um, and then I called my dad yesterday. I was like, "Can you just take all of my maternity shoots because you're so reliable, like you're my
Yeah.
dad." I'd rather, I mean, I could be hiring so many different photographers, but I think that hits way more close to home. Um, and
And
my
that's
boyfriend,
like
like,
another story to be had
yeah,
too,
yeah, and
you
that
know.
those are photographs that mean something that I'll of course like always have forever. And my boyfriend's not like that good with being in front of the camera, so having my dad take the pictures is a lot
Yeah.
more comfortable for him. Um, so we have some